Hi, everyone. This is Jen Grisanti of Jen Grisanti Consultancy, Inc. And I am thrilled to tell you about my 3 free training videos. They will be available on December 29th. And if you want to sign up for these 3 free training videos, you can do it now. So when you register, this means that on December 29th, the 3 free training videos email will begin, and you will get some of the training that I am going to go into heavily in my upcoming course, Finding Story. You will also get training that I use when I am teaching Writers on the Verge at NBC. So in this video, I wanted to give you another glimpse of some of the things that we are going to talk about. Something that I noticed a lot of writers ask about, things like, do I have to have a flaw? Or do I have to have a wound? And the answer to this question is yes. If you want to write a TV pilot that sends it over the top where it cannot be ignored, then the utilization of the wound and the flaw is part of this. So I want to read you a quote that I recently posted on Instagram, and we're going to go further into it. And this quote is the key to creating empathy when the flaw consists of unlikable traits is through the emotion experience between the flaw and the desire. It is about creating vulnerability. So, a key point in story is creating empathy and rooting interest. And so many writers ask, how do you do this when the flaw consists of unlikable traits? Well, one of the 9 shows that I break down in its entirety is Normal People. And with normal people, I want you to think about this quote. So, with normal people, it starts with the flaw. We see that Marianne is defensive and sarcastic. So the show starts with the flaw, which is a brilliant way to start a show. And then when we go home with Marianne, we feel the wound when we see the relationship dynamic that she has with her mother and her brother. So we see this with her having dinner by herself. We see this with her speaking to her mother and brother. We immediately get a sense that the wound is coming from these relationship dynamics. And the value of showing it like this is that we feel the vulnerability with the flaw. We understand why Marianne is defensive and sarcastic. And that creates a rooting interest. So when we see that the desire has to do with creating and having an intimate relationship with Colin, who is the only person that Marianne says will talk to her, then we see that through the vulnerability, we see that she gets in her own way with the defensiveness and the sarcasm. Yet her desire has to do with wanting intimacy. So the flaw is getting in the way of her getting what she wants, which creates vulnerability. And with vulnerability, we have empathy and a rooting interest. So this gives you a small glimpse of so many of the things that we are going to take a deep dive into, starting with my 3 free training videos for Finding Story. So I would love for you to register so that you can be a part of this training video series, so that you understand how you can find story in the TV pilot that you are writing. And my hope is that this will lead you to a sale. At this point, I have 87 pilots that have been sold from the writers that I work with. I would love nothing more than for you to be the next person to sell a pilot so that I can celebrate your success. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at jen@jengrisanti.com.